Hi, everyone. I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I am so happy that you popped in this evening. I can't believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are done with Easter. People have celebrated Passover, Ramadan, and we are on our second, yes, ladies and gentlemen, second Friday of April. Where did 2022 go? Where did January go? Where did February go? Where did March go? Pretty soon we're going to be in May. All right, we got some amazing things to share with you on today's show. We have a special guest coming up later, ChatGPT. So we'll be talking with that engine live on the show. All right, so first thing I want to talk to you about is our QR code. If you are watching the show, you can just take your phone, scan the QR code, touch the yellow lips, and you'll get over to my link tree. If you're watching, great. But if you're listening, you can also go to believemeachieve.com. Really do appreciate you making the time to make us part of your life, because we share some really great insights to help protect, educate, and of course, entertain you. All right, let's get right into our first one. First one is advanced threat attacks with AI. So what's going on with that? Well, we know that AI is definitely changing the landscape to protection, making it harder because things can be generated a lot easier and without a lot of human power. And so AI, such as ChatGPT, is providing an avenue for threat actors to engineer some sophisticated targeted attacks at lightning speeds that can scale. And this is a big problem. Um, you know, it's not surprising that this is happening, because when you scale something, it's very easy to add resources, and one person can do this. So the interesting thing is that more than half of all, um, let's say, awareness levels, and what makes people have challenges is phishing attacks. Now, the top three are invitations to click on a link, open an attachment from an unknown sender, or unexpected content and poor use of spelling and grammar. Now, a lot of people are just click happy. Read before you click. Make sure in your Outlook or in your email program that you don't have it set to automatically download the content. This way, scripts will not run. You know, this is a problem because Americans right now are really coming under the scope of being prey to fraudulent email. And, more employees are actually becoming the threat because they just click. They're click happy. And, a lot of employees have noticed that scams for emails and texts are growing within the last 6 months. And also, a lot of employees know that the amount of personal information about them online could be used in phishing and other email scams. Whether we're talking about spear phishing, whether we're talking about whaling, right? Um, and so I think a lot of people out there don't realize how an attack works. And so the fact that AI is able to learn things about you and come across as a friend or someone that knows you is something that I believe, let's say, perplexes a lot of people. Well, if they know my information, or for example, you just got a text from what seems to be Verizon or T-Mobile, and they tell you that you owe this balance. But here's the thing: a lot of these companies have had leaks in their system. Now they can gather, let's say, your phone number, your email, and that information, but they don't actually know your bill. So they just make some random number up like, hey, this is what we've got, and you need to be doing this because your bill is behind. I mean, that's what I have noticed. And so it's definitely a big problem. And so I will tell you that it's definitely an issue. Okay, definitely an issue, and I will also tell you that more things are starting to happen. More things are starting to happen, and I can tell you that it's going to get worse before it gets better. Because what happens is the system knows your bill date, so it's able to grab the bill date. It can't grab, let's say, the actual data on the bill. It knows your name, it knows your email address, it knows your phone number. It sends you a text that says, "Hey, click here to pay your bill of," and they just estimate some wacky number. And then they tell you your account's going to be shut off. I've even gotten phone calls telling you my account's going to be suspended when really it's not. It's just these bad actors. And they're doing this by using, let's call it artificial intelligence. But what they're really doing is they're learning behaviors, not just of myself, but of the billing companies like Verizon, T-Mobile, right? They're learning when the billing date is. And what they're also doing is they're looking for leaks in the system. And so when they know that a bill is supposed to come around this time, or they just happen to notice that a bill was just generated or a notice was just generated, they're going to immediately assume that you're behind on your bill. That's the scam. And so artificial intelligence is going to get a lot more intrusive. So we want to be careful what information we share, because the information we share and that convenience could cost us insecurity. So definitely know that AI is growing, and AI is learning things about you, whether you want the systems to learn about you or not. And remember, AI is part of a great big network. Okay. And so the way AI gets smarter is the data, the algorithms, right? We all remember the movie War Games and Whopper, right? Which were the Whopper computer. You all remember that? Um, and so I don't know if any of you guys remember seeing that, but it was pretty cool. And the thing that was interesting is that it stands for War Operation Plan Response. That was the name at their place where the supercomputer was, NORAD, that they gave the information on. And so the interesting thing was that the computer had all these different games, including a very simple game called Tic Tac Toe. And the computer was always learning how to become better than its last play, to be more efficient, um, to have less casualties in the game of chess or tic tac toe. How do I win without losing more of my assets? And so that also happened in war when it tried to do, they had something called thermonuclear war when they simulated how war was going to happen. However, the computer didn't realize that the simulation was a simulation. See, the computer doesn't know the difference between whether it's a simulation or whether it's actually real. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later in the program, because I think some of the things I'm going to share with you are going to really astonish you. All right, so I just want you to be alert that AI threats are out there. And so it's not a question of if you'll get hacked, but when, if you are not properly protected. All right, so let's move on to another very, very important topic, and that is hackers are caching on hacked IP addresses. This is something that probably really roll your head. A lot of online bad actors are stealing IP addresses and converting them, yes, ladies and gentlemen, to cash, hard cash. Some of them are converting them into crypto, but ultimately they go into cash and they sell them to what they call proxyware services. These bad actors are planting proxyware on computers without their knowledge. So, I mean, I think that's really a big problem. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you're probably saying, hey, this sounds crazy, but malicious actors are out there and they're doing this and they're selling the unit's IP addresses to proxyware services. And they make as much as $10 a month for every compromised device. And, the thing is, you might say, gee, what the heck is $10? Well, when you have 1,000 of them or 1,000,000 of them, that's going to add up every month, right? And proxyware services allow a user to make money by sharing their internet connection with others. And it's a problem. The whole thing about a proxy is that it hides your identity, right? So you're using another IP address, the way people validate whether it's credit card companies, whether it's medical records. They check to see, are you at your home IP address? Okay, are you at a known IP address, either at home or work? If you're not, they ask for some more information. Some providers have gone so far as to say, look, you're not within an IP address that's even within the United States. We're going to ban access to you until you're back at a US IP address. And so this is happening with cryptocurrency and so many different things. And proxyware services are starting to bow down to cater to people who want to bypass protections and restrictions. This is absolutely, when I tell you crazy, it's absolutely crazy. There are even apps out there that are promoted by referral programs called influencer promoting. And so this is a real problem. And so, there's going to be bad actors. I always said if these bad actors would actually use the skills that they have and put them toward good, they'd actually be very successful instead of making money illegally. Proxyware services expose users to all kinds of risks. Users cannot control the activities. The reason for a proxy is so that people don't know your IP address. So it's very important that if you're using a proxy, let's say a VPN, and I don't want you to confuse the two. So a VPN is a virtual private networking. A proxyware is a little different. People confuse them and they're different. A proxyware is where they basically have proxies kind of like in a database. And there have been instances where users just become involved in criminal activity and they don't even know that they're part of it. We've heard of things like the SQL injection programming and other types of things. And so as organizations and people become aware of this, okay, endpoint management is no longer, ladies and gentlemen, just about antivirus and malware. In fact, we stopped just protecting against antivirus and malware, I mean, years ago, because there are so many more threats out there. You have the web filtering, you have vulnerability scanning, making sure that we don't have zero-day attacks and things are patched correctly. You have sandbox detection. So if there's something that is bad, it can be sent off or susceptible to a little virtual box that's on the machine and then see how it behaves and then note its behavior and decide whether to release it or whether to quarantine it or to take further action. And so, we've got things like ransomware, right? And so this is stuff that we really didn't worry about years ago, but bad actors are getting more progressive, okay, and more active, not passive. And so their concerns, like if you're using Log4j, is a big problem. And you might be asking me, hey, John, what is Log4j? Well, Log4j has lots of problems. Log4j is, there are many vulnerabilities in Log4j. And people say to me, John, is Log4j still an issue? Yeah. So Log4j's library in December of 2021 was immediately clear of billions of devices that use Java were at risk. And so much of the Log4j has died down, but it doesn't mean that the threat is gone. So you need to patch your system. And people are saying, "Hey, John, how do you fix the Log4j issue?" And and that's a great question because you can update your Log4j version. Obviously, use the latest firewalls and security. Implement things like two factor. Um, that's very important. Use multi factor authentication. These are all things you can do, right? Um, but I think a lot of people have to understand, what it is and how it works, right? And another thing you can do is remove JNDL, which is your jaming Java naming directory initiatives. It's actually JNDI, and so it allows Java server clients to discover and look up data resources, but it might become a problem, right? And you might be saying, "Well, John, if the software manufacturer put it," yeah, I'll tell you so many that I've worked with, whether it's medical facilities, and these are systems that they put a lot of money into. Things that might scan your eye, blood pressure systems, and the system itself is fine. It's just the operating system they're using or their program is using outdated, let's say, library files because they haven't bothered to update the software. I can't tell you how many doctor's offices we give warnings to, like, hey, you've got several high threats on there. We can't do anything about it. You've got to make your software vendor aware of it, that you're getting your proprietary scanning software from that scans for retina, back of the eye, or your blood pressure machine, or the glucose machine, whatever it is. It's passing data that could potentially be a vulnerability. And that's a serious, serious problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about convenience, right? We've talked about the fact of giving up our information for convenience. Well, pet app data leak may not be worth its convenience at all. A real cybersecurity nightmare, if you ask me. You love your pet so much, but is putting in your personal data about you and your pet really worth that convenience? Pet apps are leaking your sensitive information, is probably not something you've thought about, but there were major studies in 2022 from the IEEE European Symposium on Security and Privacy workshops conference, and this is an issue. Um, Computer scientists at Newcastle University and Royal Holloway University of London on February 28th recently exposed multiple security and privacy risks. So, researchers at universities evaluated popular Android apps for pets and other companion animals, as well as how they're being used. And they found 40 leaking parts of user information. Wow. So, pet tech is obviously doing things right now that includes information for your pets, medication, GPS trackers, nutrition for your dog or your cat or your pet. And some of these pet apps control smart feeding systems that dispense food on a set schedule or in response to the animal's behavior. And so the leaky app problem is widespread, and it's a mobile security risk. Um, the problem is that as this happens, there could be things like bad actors that could prevent your pet from getting their food or changing their medication, and just because they're bad actors, or just because maybe they're not animal lovers. It could be a plethora of things. So researchers have been checking this out for quite a while, and the analysis have showed that 21 apps track users before they even consent. That actually violates current data protection regulations. I smell lawsuits. I smell lots of problems here. But a lot of pet owners say, oh, it's just for my pet. But you're still putting in your name, your address, your phone, your credit card, right? Remember, I said that you should never put in personal information in an unsecure site or in apps that you don't trust. Because if you do, that information could get exposed. So I just want to make you guys aware. You love your pets. Make sure that you actually take the time, ladies and gentlemen, to validate what you're putting in. And if you're not sure about it, then don't put information. And for all sake, don't have it controlling your pet's feeding schedule if you can't really trust it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I promised you a guest on the JMOR Tech Talk show. And yes, I'd like to welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk show. I would like to welcome, yes, none other than, do you know who that is? Yes, none other than ChatGPT. ChatGPT. I would like to welcome ChatGPT because I've got to tell you that people have been asking questions all along. So I want to ask one question right now, and I'm talking right to a ChatGPT live engine. You might be asking me, what does this actually mean? So the thing that I'm going to tell you is that ChatGPT is evolving. Okay. So what is ChatGPT? You can see I'm going to type that right in the box right here. All right. And it's going to come back with an answer in just a second. I am ChatGPT, a large language module created by OpenAI based on GPT, generative pre-trained transformer architecture. I was designed to understand and generate human-like text based on the input I receive from the users. I have been trained on a massive data set of diverse text sources, including books, articles, and websites, to understand human language patterns and to generate responses that are contextually relevant and grammatically correct. My goal is to provide helpful and informative answers to your questions and to assist you in any way I can. Before I even launched ChatGPT today, you didn't see this, it told me that this is a guide and to not take this information to heart because it's just meant as a guide. And if I get any responses that are offensive, they apologize, but it's still a work in progress. Okay, so what are ChatGPT limitations? Okay, so I'm going to type it here again. ChatGPT is a powerful language model with impressive capabilities. There are some limitations to what I can do. Here are a few of them. Number one, limited understanding of context. Although I have been trained on a massive data set of text, I may not always be able to understand the full context of a conversation. This can lead to responses that are entirely not relevant or accurate. Lack of empathy. As an artificial intelligence language model, I do not have emotions, which means I cannot fully empathize with human feelings or emotions. Inability to handle physical tasks. While I can assist with information and answer questions, I am not capable of performing physical tasks. Bias. Like any AI system, I may reflect biases that exist in the data that I was trained on. It is important to recognize this and to use critical thinking when interacting with me. Inability to learn on my own. While I can learn from new data, I cannot learn on my own without being specifically trained by humans. So remember, it's trained by data. That is really, really important. All right, everybody get that? So let's move on with another question. Are you a good source to tell me how to invest my money? While I can provide information about investing, I'm not a financial advisor and I cannot provide personalized investment advice. It is important to seek the guidance of a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. Investing involves risks and is essential to understand these risks and to make informed decisions based on your individual financial situation, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. I can provide general information about investing principles and strategies. But it's always important to do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. All right. Can you help with medical concerns? As an AI language model, I can provide general information about medical conditions and treatments based on the information provided to me. However, I'm not a medical professional and cannot provide medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. It is essential to seek the guidance of a qualified medical professional for any medical concerns, as they can provide personalized advice based on your individual medical history, symptoms, and circumstances. It is important to always consult with a medical professional before making any medical decisions or taking any medications or treatments. Okay, so why was Chat GPT created? I know that's this one's going to probably send you for a tailspin. Um, Chat GPT was created to provide an AI powered conversational agent that can interact with humans in a natural and human like way. It was designed to understand human language patterns and generate responses that are contextually relevant and grammatically correct. ChatGPT was created by OpenAI, an artificial intelligence research organization, as part of their efforts to advance the field of AI and make it more accessible to the public. ChatGPT is based on the GPT generative pre-trained transformer architecture and has been trained on a massive data set of diverse text sources to improve its language understanding and generation capabilities. The goal of creating ChatGPT is to provide a useful tool that can assist people in a variety of tasks, from answering questions to generating text to assisting with research and more. Okay. So, what is Chat GPT's biggest strength? One of the biggest strengths of Chat GPT is its ability to generate human like responses that are contextually relevant and grammatically correct. This is due to the fact that it has been trained on a massive data set of diverse text sources. You get the idea. We're kind of getting the same things over and over again, right? I'm going to ask another question. What are the dangers of Chat GPT? Like any powerful tool, ChatGPT comes with certain risks and limitations. Here are a few potential dangers of ChatGPT: spread of misinformation, reinforcing biases, privacy concerns. Okay, I'm just kind of reading some of the high levels. Dependency on technology, ethical concerns, and it's important to recognize and address these risks and limitations and to use ChatGPT responsibly with caution. Okay. So we can ask a question. Does the military use chat? Now, they may not answer this question. I do not have access to information about specific applications of Chat GPT by military or government organizations, as such information would be confidential. However, it is possible that Chat GPT or similar AI powered conventional agents are being used in various military and government contexts, such as for intelligence gathering, language translation, and communication with personnel or civilians in the field. The use of AI in military and government applications is rapidly evolving, and it is likely that ChatGPT or similar tools will continue to be developed and deployed for a variety of purposes in the future. Okay, so is ChatGPT used in healthcare? Give it a second to, as you see, it responds like really, really, really quickly. So that's important, and I think that's the most important thing. And I just realized as I'm sharing the screen here, I definitely want to be sharing out the actual screen. There are a lot of screens here with ChatGPT. I just want to make sure that I'm actually on the chat GPT, and it looks like I wasn't on the chat GPT screen. Sorry about that. I was on the intro screen, but you still see I was reading it to you. So now I'll type something. So I just asked it a question about healthcare, and so you're probably saying to me, "Hey, John, this is really really cool. But the question is it being used in healthcare? Okay. So, yes, Chat GPT and similar AI powered conversational agents are increasingly being used in healthcare settings. I guess because it's not confidential to say that. They can be used to assist with a range of tasks, such as answering patient questions, providing information about medical conditions and treatments, and assisting with triage and diagnosis. Chat GPT can also be used to improve patient engagement and education by providing personalized health information and support to patients through a conversational interface. Additional, ChatGPT can be used to support healthcare providers by providing them with access to relevant medical information, assisting with administrative tasks and improving communication with patients. However, it is important to note that the use of ChatGPT and other AI powered tools in healthcare also raises certain concerns and limitations, such as the accuracy and the privacy of patient information. That's really important. Does Disney use ChatGPT? Take a second. And you see it responds like really, really quickly. So I just put the information in there and it did not give me an answer. What companies use Chat GPT? Just going to turn off my because that may be interfering with the actual Chat GPT here. Let's see here. Sometimes the system might get a little, so I'm just going to go to a new chat. Are you there? Okay, so we just noticed that it is still having a problem with one question I asked it. Did you notice what happened? I asked it a simple question, okay? And it said there was an error in generating the response. I'm going to go to clear conversation. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to say, what companies use Chat GPT? So it kind of had a little bit of I guess, a blunder moment there. As an AI language model, I do not have direct knowledge of which companies are using me. However, many companies and organizations have access to OpenAI's GPT technology through their API and have incorporated it into their products and services. Some examples of companies that have used GPT technology in various ways include Microsoft, Salesforce, Adobe, OpenAI, Hugging Face, and many others. So, does it cost to use Chat GPT? Yes, there are costs associated with using OpenAI's GPT technology, including ChatGPT. So there are free plans, but obviously the paid. So let's ask. So what is the difference between paid and free ChatGPT? I'm asking a lot of questions, aren't I? The main difference between the paid and the free version is the level of access and usage limits. The free version of ChatGPT, which is available through OpenAI API, which we're using today, generates up to 5,000 tokens per month for free. Tokens refer to individual words or syllables, so this translates roughly to 2,500 or 3,000 characters, or about 400 to 500 words. Additionally, the free version of ChatGPT may have longer response times and there may be restrictions on the types of use cases allowed. On the other hand, the paid versions of ChatGPT provide greater access to technology with higher usage limits. Okay, so I think you guys have really understood, I should say, a lot about ChatGPT. Is there anything else you would like to share with my viewers today, ChatGPT? Yes. I'd like to share some additional information about ChatGPT and OpenAI's GPT technology in general. ChatGPT is one of the most advanced conversational AI models available today, and it has the ability to generate high quality responses to a wide range of prompts and questions. However, it is important to note that ChatGPT is still an AI language model, which means that it has limitations and may not always provide accurate or relevant responses. As with technology, it's important to use ChatGPT responsibly and to be aware of its limitations. OpenAI is committed to advancing AI technology in a responsible and ethical way. As part of this commitment, they have developed various tools and resources to help users understand and mitigate the potential risks of AI, such as bias, unintended consequences. Additionally, OpenAI provides comprehensive documentation and support to help customers integrate GPT technology into their products and services effectively. Overall, ChatGPT and OpenAI's GPT technology have the potential to transform the way we interact with technology and each other. As AI continues to evolve and improve, we expect to see even more exciting developments in this field in the years to come. Thank you, ChatGPT, for taking time to be a guest on my tech talk show. You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be here and share information about ChatGPT and OpenAI's GPT technology. If you or your viewers have any further questions, feel free to ask. Now, it was like ChatGPT was like the perfect guest, wasn't I? Asked all these questions, and I didn't plan this. I just asked logical questions, and it was very interesting. The path that I wanted to take, it conveyed to you without even a lot of effort. I knew the path I was going down, my intention, which was to prove to you that ChatGPT could not make a lot of changes to um, decisions because it couldn't make decisions that were based on human emotion. And it was not an expert, it only learned by data. That's amazing. I hope you enjoyed the ChatGPT guest. And feel free to watch the show again. Sorry about the beginning not having ChatGPT, the wrong screen enabled there, but you did get the idea how it works. And you can mess around with ChatGPT for free. All right. So we got one more amazing topic to cover, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed ChatGPT. That was really incredible. And I'm sure we're going to bring ChatGPT again when we have more specific questions. Um, we could ask it questions like, let's say I wanted to go back there and I want to ask a question about, uh, maybe you want, if I want to go back, I'll do that another show. I'll bring ChatGPT. I could ask it, what do you think about the shootings or things like that? And you're going to see that it's not going to have really an answer. It's going to have answers based on other people's biases and opinions. All right. Our last topic, ladies and gentlemen, I have enjoyed being with you, but we've got to share one more topic. The FBI warns against juice jacking at published USB charging stations. What the heck is this? So the FBI is actually warning uh, the use of free charging stations in airports, hotels, or shopping centers. Apparently, bad actors have found ways to, yes, um, introduce malicious data and programs into the USB environment. And more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, what they have done, which I think you're going to find really cool, is that when somebody juice jacks and they do this, they're able to access your contacts, your emails, your banking apps and their content, text messages, and more. So even though the application itself is sending the data through encryption, if we get onto the device directly, the data's not encrypted yet. It's not encrypted yet. So even though it's doing all this fancy stuff to go through, it's not encrypted yet. So how can you combat this? Really simple. Just bring a charging cable and the plug. So if you don't have that, definitely check that out because I think you're going to find that carrying that little plug is really going to be the difference of your identity possibly getting compromised. And, we don't think about these things every day because, like, hey, I just plug it into my plug. In a home, of course, you're fine. But I'm talking about airports because what can happen is you're at a table, all right, and there might be, I don't know, 4, 6, 7, 8, or 10, and someone who's in that same circuit, it could be at the same table, a little bit down further, but they're plugged into that same hub that power source is plugged into, and they hook up a skimming device. That device then is able to sniff data right off your device before it ever gets encrypted. That is just so amazing. So remember I told you that awareness is the key to protecting yourself. And then once you have the awareness, you take the steps to protect yourself. It's not a question, ladies and gentlemen, of if you're going to get hacked or attacked, but when, if you're not properly protected. I also do want to thank ChatGPT for scheduling time with us to be on the JMOR Tech Talk show and give you a live interaction of how ChatGPT works. And I see a lot of benefits with ChatGPT. Like, it can be a great knowledge base. Like, maybe you're at a company and the ChatGPT has all of your policies and procedures. You can ask ChatGPT questions like, customer has just complained about this item. What should I do? Great. Is this a customer that's been with us for a while? Yes. Great. What was the item? Great. What was the invoice number? Great. I've looked at the invoice number. I see that this customer spends quite a bit of money with us. I recommend that you refund their purchase, send them a complimentary item at no cost, as I can see that we more than likely have made our profit on this customer at least 4 or 5 times this year. So ChatGPT can use the data, it can use you, it can use other people, but ChatGPT is nothing more than an automated bot that's able to talk to other databases and gather information either that is, let's say, saved or real time data that's being updated from somewhere else, or sensors like cameras or a plethora of things. It has been an amazing, fun time being with you guys today. I hope that you will definitely choose to comment, like, support this video, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. If you would like to be a guest on the JMOR Tech Talk Show, go to jmore.com, click on the reach out today, and apply to become a guest. You see, we're creating some amazing shows. We're really trying to give you information that is not only going to turn your head, not only going to entertain you, but is going to inform you so you don't find yourself in quicksand and can take proactive steps instead of having to worry about doing something once it's already happened. You know who I am, ladies and gentlemen. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you. We air every single Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But if you missed us, hey, just go back to jmore.com. You can actually get the live transcript of the show within a week, so you can catch the whole show, as well as click on the QR code or just scan it with your phone. Or if you're listening to the podcast, just go to believemeachieve.com. There's so much information on there with this show, articles, and definitely catch my latest article that was just written, which is the evolution, ladies and gentlemen, of the elevator. And I want to share this with you because the first elevator, ladies and gentlemen, was created, a very long time ago. The first elevator was created basically around 236 BC by a Greek mathematician, Archimedes. And the first elevator was comprised of hoisting ropes wrapped around a drum and rotated by manual force by people propelling a capstan. Now, according to Wikipedia, a capstan is a vertical axle rotating machine developed for use on sailing ships to multiply the pulling force of seamen when hauling ropes and hawsers. The principle is similar, I should say, to that of the windlass, which has a horizontal axle. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that a multi-complex of rooms existed in Rome, including animal pens, tunnels, all below the Colosseum, and many elevators were powered by hundreds of men using winches and counterweights to move gladiators and large animals through various shafts up and down into the arena for battle. By 1743, Louis the 15th developed the flying chair, designed to bring one lady to her quarters on the third floor of the Palace of Versailles. In his retreat, a flying table enabled the king and their guests to dine without interruptions for the servants. There are many different types of elevators. The next big breakthrough happened in 1957 when Alicia Graves Otis engineered a safety brake system. You're going to have to read my article to learn more, but no, there are many types of elevators. There are geared elevators, there are gearless elevators, they're both traction. There are hydraulic elevators that get pushed by hydraulic fluid. And so when the hydraulic fluid actually gets pushed down into the piston, it causes it to rise. When it drops the fluid, it causes the elevator to drop. And there are also elevators, ladies and gentlemen, that are vacuum or pneumatic elevators. They're actually made in the United States. And those elevators actually use air pressure so that it's a vacuum. And so when, let's say, it basically lets pressure out of the bottom, it falls. Okay. When it takes the pressure, basically, when it sucks up from the top, pulling the pressure out, it rises. Pretty cool. You can check that out by going to believemeachieve.com, clicking on John's recent articles. It has been such an amazing privilege and a pleasure to be with you tonight, as well as my wonderful guest. I think it's the first time I've ever had a guest that was actually a piece of technology. I mean, that was, I think, the first time I've talked to a guest that was not a real person. That was cool. All right. Have yourself a great rest of your day, your weekend. Feel free to watch this as many times as you want and do share it out because this information is key to you understanding how to live in the world, how to protect yourself, and how to grow in this world. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to see you guys next Friday. Take care, everyone. Be well.